Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman Wargamer. It's an open the box, an unboxing of a P500 reprint of a game that's just arrived here on the shores of Old Blighty. It is Normandy 44, D-Day and the Battle for Normandy, 6th to the 27th of June 1944. Game designed by, of course, Mark Simonitch and published by GMT Games. And thanks as always to Second Chance Games over here in the UK for whizzing it over to me as soon as it hit their warehouse. So, what's all this about? Normandy 44 is a 2 to 3 player regimental level game of the D-Day landings on June the 6th and the battles that raged in Normandy for the next 21 days. During this crucial period, the Germans had their only chance to push back the Allied invasion before the preponderance of Allied men and material made the outcome certain. During this period, the US First Army fought across the Cotentin Peninsula and captured the major port of Cherbourg, while British forces took on the bulk of the panzer divisions near Caen. Each turn represents 1 day. Each hex represents 3.8 kilometres, or 2.3 miles. Most units are regiments or brigades, though the majority of the army units are represented as battalions. The game uses a simplified version of the Ardennes 44 system: move, fight and reserve movement. All units are rated for troop quality, while the army units have a tank rating. In each battle, these ratings are used to provide shifts for either the attacker or defender. Other important shifts are provided by air power, naval support, artillery and Tiger tanks. The game includes a 22-turn campaign game, a 7-turn tournament scenario that focuses on the Allies linking up the beaches, and a scenario covering the battle for the peninsula and the capture of Cherbourg. So here's the map, looking good, and some of the counters. So, game design, of course, Mark Simonitch. Game developer, Kevin Bernatz. Art director, Roger B. McGowan. Map and counter art, Mark Simonitch. OB research, Neil Wakefield and Mark Simonitch. Usual crew of producers. And the package design, Roger B. McGowan. As it says here, units are battalions, regiments and brigades. Players 2 to 3. Ages 14 plus. Time 1 day per turn. Map, as mentioned earlier, 3.8 kilometres per hex. Game contents: one 22 by 34 inch full colour map, 2 counter sheets, 9/16 of an inch, 32 page rulebook, 5 player aids and 1 die. And on the game meter, complexity is medium at 5 out of 9 and solitaire suitability 7 out of 9. Right. Let's get the shrink wrap off. The shrink wrap is off. It's 1.5 inch box. Their sort of tougher box that they're using now. So let's open the box. First thing we see is a D6. And then the rules. So let's have a look at those. These come in at 36 pages. Glossy paper, full colour. Introduction, contents, some of the counters and what all the bits and pieces on them mean. Summary of unit types, the colours and the step units. Sequence of play, weather, supply points, replacements and reinforcements. Stacking. Zones of control with the now famous Zoc bonds. Movement. Examples of movement, always good to see. Little examples in the rules. Combat. Combat modifiers and their results. Retreat and disruption. Advance after combat. Reserve movement and combat. Fortifications. Special units. Supply and isolation. Air and naval support. The invasion turn. Beaches, mulberries and evacuations. Special rules. Automatic victory. Multiplayer. Play by 3 or 4 players. Credits here, some optional rules. And the scenarios. Here's the campaign game and the 7-turn mini game. And this Cherbourg scenario. And this is quite handy to have. Changes in editions. If you have an earlier edition, but you've got the more up-to-date rules from the GMT website. Extended example of play. So the special invasion phase, which kicks it all off. There we are. Designer notes and index. And on the back, some tables. Them's the rules. Next are the player aids. And on this one, we've got the combat results table with determined defense table, list of combat result table modifiers, the Yabos table and the strafing table. And on the other side, terrain effects, isolation attrition table and the allied reinforcement points. Here's the setup card for the Cherbourg scenario. And on the other side, the campaign German at start card. Here's the setup for units in Britain, single-sided. The Allies at start card, single-sided. And lastly, the German reinforcement card, again, single-sided. Next, it's the counters. And as I said earlier, on the back of the box, it said 2 counter sheets. It's actually 2.5. So here's the first one. Here's the German counter sheet. Here we've got the Wehrmacht. And this SS, Luftwaffe and the Kriegsmarine. And the other side, of course. And of course here are the Allies, showing the US and the British and Canadians. And lastly, a little half sheet with admin counters. And the other side. Last thing in the box is the map. So let's have a look at that. Here's the map. Up the top here we've got Cherbourg, Bayeux here, St. Lo. And up here we've got tracks and tables, which we'll have a look at. There's also some others down the side here. And just for completion, here's the bottom of the map. We've got Granville here and Falaise. Let's have a close-up. So here is Cherbourg. Quite a nice looking map. Easy enough to distinguish different terrain. And here is Caen. Here's the turn record track and general records track and the weather table. This is where the British air support markers go and the British naval support markers go, and the weather track. Up here, Glider Regiment, US air support markers and US naval support markers. And here, 4th Division, here's Pointe du Hoc. And the beaches, Omaha, Gold, Juno, Sword. Down the left side of the map, we can see the division mobilisation boxes, the DD tank table, and the airborne scatter table. And just to finish off at the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we've got a terrain and icon chart. That's the map. So this has been an Open the Box, an unboxing of the third printing of Normandy 44, a game designed by Mark Simonitch and published by GMT Games. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and you found it interesting. If you did, and it was, and you haven't done so already, it would be great if you would consider subscribing to the channel. Really does help. Pushing the like button of the actual video, the thumbs up, that helps as well. And if you want to be informed of other content the channel uploads, then push the bell. Leave a comment. How does this game compare to the others in the inverted commas series? Let me know. I love to read them. Thanks as always to my subscribers. Thank you very much. And just before I go, one last thing. If you want to support the channel a little bit further, well now you can buy the channel a coffee. And all those coffees go towards new content for the channel to upload. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description. And thank you. So until next time, as always, you take care and goodbye.